Our universe is filled with celestial bodies, be it planets, moons, or countless stars. Beneath the surface, many of these bodies possess living avatars that embody their mystery and might. Within the world of mages, these beings are known as Ultimate Ones, or types. While the Earth humanity calls home is a rare exception, the moon that orbits Earth is not. Its Ultimate One is a being known as Brunestud of the Crimson Moon, or Type Moon. We humans have a very conflicted relationship with our own planet. We pose a great threat to nature, yet are just as much the product of that nature. Thus, the planet's will, Gaia, seeks to mediate humanity's influence. Over 4,000 years ago, Gaia called upon Brunestud for aid. In exchange for protecting Earth from its own human inhabitants, Brunestud was allowed to live on and propagate Earth with his kin. Agreeing to this arrangement, Brunestud descends to Earth and takes residence in his glorious abode, the Millennium Castle. It exists as the one place that receives the most influence from the moon, a testament to his might as an Ultimate One. To fulfill his deal with the planet, Brunestud creates in his own image a race of incarnated elemental spirits, the true ancestors. These offspring serve the planet as an extension of its will, or sense of touch. They are to watch over and police humanity's growth, while Brunestud travels the planet in search of powerful humans to fight. Tempted to claim Earth as his own kingdom, Brunestud amasses both followers and foes. In the year 300 AD, he is finally defeated by the legendary Keisher Zelrech Schweinorg, a mage in possession of the second true magic, Kaleidoscope. While Brunestud never expected to be slain by a mere human, he did take measures to ensure he could rule Earth from beyond the grave. Within each true ancestor is a tremendous power, the Marble Phantasm, that allows them to reconstruct the world by altering probability. An extension of this is the ability to manifest the now destroyed Millennium Castle as their own reality marble. Only the strongest among them are capable of this, and when they're born, they are treated as royalty. Brunestud's will carries on to his children, allowing him to possess the bodies of true ancestors powerful enough to conjure his castle. Regrettably, this means that Brunestud's greatest vice also carries over to his children, that being vampiric bloodlust. Like their creator, true ancestors suffer from a powerful instinct to devour blood, one they can only suppress for so long. When sucking the blood of humans, true ancestors wind up creating their own offspring, dead apostles, who require blood to maintain their immortality. As a result, it isn't long before the true ancestors, who are supposed to mediate mankind, wind up becoming its greatest threat. Those unable to stave off their bloodlust are seen as demon lords, who abandon their true purpose by embracing power without hesitation. In that regard, they threaten not only humanity, but their own race as well. The still pure true ancestors start to hope for a savior, a successor who can venture out and exterminate their fallen kin. After 900 years, their prayers are answered in the form of Arcueid. Inheriting the Brunestud name, she is the strongest of them yet, capable of resisting her bloodlust and summoning the Millennium Castle at will. She is worshipped as the White Princess of the true ancestors, who immediately raise her to hunt the rest of her kind. Arcueid takes on this mission without emotion, going on to slay nearly all of the corrupted demon lords. One of the few to escape her might is Altruge Brunestud, her half-breed sister. Born from the unity of a true ancestor and dead apostle, Altruge rivals her sister's might, and during one of their battles, she angrily steals a chunk of Arcueid's hair. The remaining true ancestors are convinced that Arcueid simply lacks vampiric impulse altogether. This, however, is proven false when she meets the notorious mage Michael Roa Valdemjong. Born to a wealthy family in the late 15th century, Roa is a former priest who loves making a mental recording of humanity's efforts throughout history. he falls into despair when realizing his own limited lifespan will prevent him from observing the full breadth of mankind's achievements. Seeking immortality, Roa believes he must first become a vampire. So long as they continue to sate their thirst for blood, dead apostles remain alive, never dying from old age or natural causes. To become the strongest vampire possible, he reasons he will have to be converted by the strongest vampire still alive. Thus, instead of using magecraft to transform himself, he targets Arcueid, or rather, convinces Arcueid to target him. Roa visits the princess at her Millennium Castle, only to learn she lacks bloodlust. Refusing to accept this, he resorts to toying with her. Meant to mercilessly kill her own kind, Arcueid has no experience with human emotions, leaving her vulnerable to suggestion and deceit. Under the guise of companionship, Roa remains near Arcueid long enough for her to feel even the slightest temptation for blood. Naive to the danger, she accepts when Roa offers his blood to sate her thirst. This first sip sparks a flame that will only grow more heated over time. Dead apostles are made through an exchange of energy. As Arcueid is tricked into drinking Roa's blood, she inadvertently shares with him a portion of her own energy. Thus, he gains the immortality he craves, while plunging her into a fit of madness. Compelled by this awakening to temptation, Arcueid carves through even the true ancestors who raised her. Only after their demise is she able to regain enough sanity to chain herself up and slumber within the Millennium Castle. Roa emerges from this incident as one of the most powerful dead apostles. His love for humanity, his desire to observe them eternally, is ironically sullied by his need to feast on them going forward. In doing so, he forever incurs Arcueid's wrath. Between periods of rest, she will depart the castle to hunt him down and reclaim the energy he effectively stole from her. No matter how powerful Roa is, he cannot possibly survive a fight against the one who gave him that power. Arcueid's crimson claws can shred both flesh and bone. Her concentrated energy can be fired as a projectile. As a nature spirit, she can shape the air itself into a weapon. This extends to commanding vines and chains that sprout forth and bind her prey. With enough energy, she can coat an entire city block with lush vegetation. While not a formal mage, she inherits magic circuits that can harness mystery from the Age of Gods, before the discovery of true magic. Along with this are her rainbow-ranked mystic eyes of enchantment. With a single profound gaze, she can paralyze humans and manipulate their behavior through suggestion. To an extent, even fellow vampires are compelled by her stare to obey. Arcueid's body is resistant to any magecraft she's experienced prior. As a product of nature, her abilities surpass those which mankind has derived from nature. The only spells that even remotely affect her come from foreign lands she's never been to, or are based in modern techniques rather than the earth itself. Not even the sun, which decimates lesser vampires, causes her any significant harm. At most, sunlight just barely opens her up to the concept of death, which for her isn't even a true death as we know it. Arcueid can regenerate from most wounds easily, and should her body be marred beyond recognition, her energy can resurrect her anew. Of course, Arcueid's existence transcends her physical body. As Brunestud's vessel, she is effectively the planet's own incarnation, a being known as Archetype Earth. Even after the complete destruction of her physical form, she can channel the planet's energy to undergo rapid expansion, manifesting in a luminous body that towers over skyscrapers. In this form, she can conceptually and physically store the planet's texture in a gravitational sphere, truly isolating her domain from the rest of reality. When not on the brink of an unlikely death, Arcueid's marble phantasm triumphs over those typically possessed by her race. It is the planet's authority, allowing her to manipulate nature as she pleases. This entails altering time, space, and the creation of matter. Greedily, Arcueid interprets all of mankind's technology as a part of nature, thereby allowing her to instantly create human tools, from clothing to weaponry, and even something as benign as a whiteboard. The extent of these powers depends on her connection to Earth's ley lines. In that regard, one must first weaken the land before her abilities are in any way hindered. By all means, Arcueid truly is the strongest being on the planet. Most of the time, she only taps into a small percentage of this might. Ever since Roa deceived her, she's had to dedicate part of her energy to staving off her vampirism. Quite honestly, the very thought of drinking blood scares Arcueid, and aside from Roa, she's never taken another victim. Needless to say, Arcueid obliterates Roa's vampire form, but is plagued by his unique ability to reincarnate into suitable vessels. Even when she destroys his body, it's only a matter of time until he reawakens into the body of an otherwise innocent human. This makes it nigh impossible for Arcueid to defeat Roa entirely, but that doesn't stop her from hunting his every incarnation. After slaying Roa each time, Arcueid returns to rest in her castle until Roa next emerges. In the span of nearly 900 years, she has barely been active for even one. This changes in the modern era, however, when Roa reincarnates into the body of a boy named Shiki Tono. Repeating her cycle, Arcueid wakes from her slumber and hunts Roa in the city of Soya. She patrols the city at night, looking for his current lair. It is during the day when she encounters a different Shiki Tono, an adopted child from a now executed clan of demon hunters. This Shiki, properly named Shiki Nanaya, does his best to live a humble life without conflict. After a traumatic accident in his youth, Shiki awakened to the mystic eyes of death perception, allowing him to see death in the form of ominous lines. Thankfully, he's been able to suppress this power with a special pair of glasses. Consciously, he would never hurt a fly, but in Arcueid's presence, his Nanaya instincts take over. A lust to eviscerate inhuman beings compels Shiki to follow Arcueid to her apartment and take her off guard. Removing his precious glasses, he uses the mystic eyes of death perception to carve her into 17 bloody pieces. These wounds cannot be healed, and to replace her entire body, Arcueid expends 80% of her energy. Thus, even though she survives Shiki's attack, she emerges in an extremely weakened state. No longer can she slay Roa or any other dead apostles who come for her head. Assuming Shiki to be a serial killer, Arcueid forces him to serve as her bodyguard until she fully recovers. In a sense, though, a full recovery will never come. That day, something about her forever changes. No longer an emotionless hunter, Arcueid begins to develop her feelings. Her interactions with Shiki are free-spirited and cheerful. Despite their first encounter, she begins to trust and adore the strange boy who killed her. In other words, she becomes a funny vamp with a maturity on par with her appearance as a woman in her late teens. Even though it means squaring off with not one, but two powerful dead apostles, Arcueid truly enjoys being with Shiki, and he in turn keeps assisting her until she regains her strength. Soon, this excitement develops into a genuine romance. Arcueid loves Shiki, and while she wants to stay with him, her newfound feelings are accompanied by a heightened bloodlust. Without the energy to resist her thirst, her vampiric instincts only grow worse, tempting her to drink Shiki's blood and make him her familiar. That said, she respects Shiki's way of life, his desire to protect the peace, and so she remains stoic, long enough to defeat the vampire Vlav Archangel and locate Roa's lair beneath Shiki's school. Agents from the Holy Church, such as her romantic rival Ciel, declare her a blood-sucking monster who can't be trusted. This has her put everything on the line to prove them wrong, to protect Shiki's humanity and his cherished city. Refusing to put him in danger during their final battle, she uses her mystic eyes to paralyze Shiki. On her own and still not at her best, Arcueid faces off against Roa. When her ordinary strength isn't enough, she unleashes her marble phantasm to isolate Roa in a confined space. Unable to escape, her claws rip him apart, and yet his body regenerates. Retaliating, Roa approaches and carves into her death lines with his own mystic eyes. This time, without the energy to recover, she is legitimately killed, passing on after sharing a kiss with her beloved. Taking over for her, Shiki confronts Roa once and for all. With his more potent mystic eyes of death perception, Shiki is able to finally kill Roa, severing not only his current life, but also his entire cycle of reincarnation. The energy Roa stole from Arcueid many years ago returns to and resurrects her. Hesitantly, she visits Shiki one last time to say farewell. Despite her continued effort to suppress it, Arcueid's bloodlust is at an insurmountable peak. As much as she wants to stay with Shiki, she reasons it would be too dangerous for him. Instead, she declares she will return to her castle and continue sleeping. This time, however, she will dream of her pleasant time with Shiki forevermore. At Arcueid's core is an innocent girl who never asked for this curse, nor the powers that come with it. At the same time, there is a part of her that embodies Brunestud's legacy as the strongest true ancestor. For as much as she wants to be herself, she can't escape her fate as the planet's avatar, Archetype Earth. Thus, when proper human history is threatened by an alien god and its 7 lost belts, Arcueid returns to the battlefield in a new form, a heroic spirit. She is summoned by Ritsuka Fujimaru, the last master of the Chaldea Security Organization. Emerging as Archetype Earth, she alternates between her persona as Arcueid and that of the Crimson Moon's successor. Technically, she exists in 3 states. First is herself as the proper true ancestor princess she was meant to become. Fulfilling her original duty, she watches over humanity without overt bias. She neither hates nor cherishes humans. Second is Arcueid's legacy, the joyful girl who changed after meeting Shiki. She is stubborn and expressive, doing whatever it takes to keep her loved ones from harm. Third is a side of Arcueid that is yet to properly exist, a younger what-if state where she never discovered her bloodlust. It is her naive past self who lacks any and all experience dealing with humans. The result is an Archetype Earth with 3 distinct personalities that can all interact simultaneously. While manifesting as a heroic spirit, Archetype Earth lacks her full planetary authority. Even so, she is strong enough to call upon torrential storms from her fingers and devastating earthquakes from her toes. It is fortunate, then, that she harnesses these powers for Chaldea's sake, giving the humanity of another world a shot at prosperity. Thanks for watching.
If you enjoy this channel, help us grow by liking, commenting, sharing the video, subscribing to OtakuDaiKun, and
most of all, smashing that notification bell so you don't miss out on all our anime lore, discussions, and Let's Play content.
You can support us directly through Patreon, Subscribestar, or a YouTube membership, all of which come with benefits like spicy exclusive vids and early access.
As always, celebrate your fandom. I want to give a special shout out to all my $10 and up supporters. VideoGamer75, Dante Pendragon, WurgGX, Stephen Elak, The Nonchalant Ostrich, Otaku Mom, Jens Bauman, Mystic Samurai 1983, Free Brick, Olympian Doll, Alexis Yukio Gomez Yamato, Lunar Works, Link Pendrago, Observer Bellis, James Hewitt, Uncanny EXP, Zamas Autonomous, Yuki Eidos, Crow Kalem, Scout, Saul Soto, Tristan Riggin, Mayfu Mado, Caitlin P, Sogai CH, Vladimir Ovna, The Taz 96, Jonathan Padua, Kengo X 77, Hersha of E-Rated Hands, Alistair Bernadotte, and Akakaze Yume. Thank you all so much.